In Asia, equities finished mixed today as investors paid particular attention to Toshiba's twice-delayed earnings results and as geopolitical tensions continued to weigh. South Korea's Kospi fell by 0.44%. Concerns over geopolitical tensions continue to build on the Korean peninsula after the U.S. deployed a carrier strike group closer to the region. Japan's Nikkei 225 declined 0.27% as the dollar-yen slipped below the 111 handle. Mainland Chinese markets reversed losses made earlier in the session, with the Shanghai Composite higher by 0.58% and the Shenzhen Composite up 0.691%. The Hang Seng Index was lower by 0.86%. And here in Nigeria are the official FX markets. The Central Bank of Nigeria has opened a special foreign exchange window for small and medium enterprises to enable them import eligible finished and semi-finished items not exceeding $20,000 for an enterprise per quarter. The Apex Bank also reduced the tenure for its forward foreign exchange transactions from 60 days to 30 days. Meanwhile, Bureau de Change operators have demanded that the CBN increase the allowable margin on dollar sales in the subsector. Let's get a sense of how these are playing out at the interbank currency market. Chioma Udu, FX dealer at GT Bank, joins me now. Good afternoon, Chioma. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Our CBN has opened special window for SMEs. What will this mean for the Naira?
We're going to see the Naira strengthen. We're going to see a lot of pressure out of the parallel market. We've seen them commence to the SMEs today, as the circular just came out today. So they sold to banks, and banks will commence to sell to SMEs. So we're going to see a lot of pressure leave the parallel market, and then the contraction of the rate of the interbank market and the parallel market.
Our CBN has also reduced the tenure for its forward foreign exchange transactions from 60 days to 30 days. What is the implication of this for the market?
What the implications are that LCs are going to be opened more often, more entities are going to come into the market, and then customers are going to get their funds much faster to take out their matured obligations. So it's going to stimulate the economy faster.
Now, Chioma, isn't it an irony that in all of these interventions by the central bank, the Naira has continued to depreciate at the parallel market? How would you explain this?
Okay, like I've said, the CBN started intervention by selling to the invisibles and then to the BDCs, and customers that are not able to get funds from the interbank market still to the BDCs, the parallel market, and spiked the rate. So now the CBN has come in now to sell to the small and medium businesses. So we're going to see a lot of pressure leave the parallel market and hope that the Naira strengthens from there.
So what is the Naira trading as we speak now?
For interbank market, we're currently at 306.5. For parallel market, about 400.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Chioma, for those updates there. On the West, African Economic and Monetary Union has ruled out devaluation for the CFA franc and says it has 5 months of foreign reserves sufficient to support the currency. The bloc's current president, Alassane Ouattara, who said this at the end of an extraordinary summit of its 7 heads of state in Ivory Coast commercial capital Abidjan, called its member countries to address economic and security concerns. In Kenya, lender CBN Group has agreed to make a market for the country's debut mobile phone-based bond, guaranteeing investors an exit whenever they need it. Kenya raised 150 million shillings with a 3-year bond called M. Akiba, becoming the first in the world to issue a government bond exclusively via mobile phone. CBN's status as a market maker for the new bond followed negotiations with the government. Neither parties disclosed the cost of the provision of liquidity for the 3-year life of the bond. The second tranche of M. Akiba, worth 4.85 billion shillings, is set to open in June and Wohoro Ndoho, the head of debt at the Ministry of Finance, says automobile issues would follow. And Etisalat Nigeria is yet to agree a deal on restructuring a $1.2 billion loan with local banks after it missed a payment. Speaking on the sidelines of Etisalat's annual general meeting in Abu Dhabi, a source close to the matter says the group of 13 Nigerian lenders were yet to agree on a debt restructuring proposal. The group's chief executive, Saleh Al-Abodili, however, declined to comment on the debt talks. Nigerian regulators agreed with local banks in March to pursue a default deal rather than a receivership for Etisalat Nigeria so as not to deter investors and to avoid a wider debt crisis. Reports indicate that Etisalat would consider selling its stake in the Nigerian entity after the debt deal is agreed. And the International Monetary Fund sees a more favorable outlook for the global economy this year and next than in 2016, presented a joint report on global trade by the IMF, World Bank and the World Trade Organization. The IMF Managing Director, Christine Lagarde, says, however, the IMF has some concerns beyond the near term.
Our forecast for 2017 and 2018 is certainly more favorable than what we have seen in 2016 and probably a bit more so than we had forecasted previously. So there is a positive short-term outlook on the horizon, which is unfortunately tainted by the risks that are still there and that lead us to be concerned about the risk of complacency. I also identified two key concerns that we at the IMF have. One is persistent low productivity, and second, excessive inequalities that grow together with that low productivity.
Christine Lagarde, IMF Managing Director. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll look at the commodities market. Do stay with us.